Well, welcome to the Corti Crescendo webinar this afternoon. Thank you very much for joining. Subject is the AI assistant for clinicians. I'm going to introduce myself first, and then I'll ask Frederick to do the same. I'm Paul Morgan. I head up sales at Crescendo, and I'm joined by Frederick. If you'd like to introduce yourself, Frederick.
Yep, nice to meet all of you. Frederick Brabant. I'm a medical doctor as background, worked several years with patients, so very familiar with the fun and the pains of medicine. At this moment, I work at Corti, and I'm heading up their strategy. So nice to meet you, and looking forward to share some things about the new AI technology. So with that, I like to start actually with what we're gonna cover today. So we will speak initially about the need for AI technology and why we have systems like that and how it can benefit. Then we want to zoom in a little bit about responsible AI in the UK healthcare, what that can do. And then we're going to focus on Corti Assistant, that product. We will do a demo, and then we'll open up for questions. So with that, I actually want to turn that to Paul, who will focus on the need for the AI assistant. Paul, up to you.
Thanks very much, Frederick. Thanks again for joining. I want to talk a little bit about UK healthcare today. As you're all aware, the NHS is facing unprecedented challenges that are making headlines across the media. Reports of backlogs, cancellations, winter pressures, long waits in A&E have become all too familiar. Patients on trolleys in corridors have become symbolic on the strain of our healthcare system. I did even see one trust advertising for a role of a corridor nurse. So the NHS is currently grappling with infrastructure delays, patient care challenges, overcrowding, declining public satisfaction, and ongoing policy reforms aimed at addressing these pressing issues. So given the declining population of the current government, healthcare remains at the top of the political agenda. The Prime Minister's recent speech on AI strategy emphasised the urgent need to prioritise workforce pressure release within the NHS, citing technology as not just an option but a necessity if we're to tackle the immense challenges facing the sector today. I think we all remember in the past the suggestion that we're going to increase by thousands the number of doctors and nurses we have, but we all know the workforce simply doesn't exist. And this issue is not unique to the UK, it is pretty much a global challenge. So AI scribes, what is all the hype about? So what's an AI scribe? So it's a technology that is gaining significant traction in healthcare documentation and resource management. AI scribes have the capability to summarize and template notes from a patient-clinician conversation. So acting as a clinician's assistant, the tech listens, documents, and summarizes notes, allowing healthcare professionals to focus more on the patient during consultations. The potential time savings are really significant, depending on speciality up to 50%. The rapid development of AI scribe technology is evident from our own research. This is the number of startups globally in this space increased from 96 just 2 months ago to 126 today. However, with any innovation, there are concerns that must be addressed around issues such as data privacy, security, the quality of AI-generated data must be carefully managed. Pretty much all of these startups are leveraging general AI models like ChatGPT or OpenAI, etc., which raises further concerns regarding the integrity and accuracy of data. These open to all models may not understand the real world knowledge, physical properties, or medical facts. This can cause the model to produce outputs that are factually incorrect or even nonsensical. These are termed hallucinations and could have a detriment on patient care should the clinician overlook the hallucination. This does expose danger if a clinician is becoming over-reliant on AI. So the highest priority of a responsible developer would be to ensure the probabilities of hallucinations are at an absolute minimum. While AI presents numerous opportunities to revolutionise healthcare, it is imperative that we approach its implementation with caution, ensuring robust data governance, ethical guidelines, and public trust will be critical in maximising the benefits AI can bring to the NHS. So why Crescendo and why Corti? Well, we Crescendo were established in 1990. We have a long history of providing dictation and documentation solutions both to the NHS and private healthcare. We, in fact, have thousands of clinicians who currently rely on us for their dictation and speech recognition applications, and our experience in implementing these solutions is well known. Corti have, for the past 9 years, developed their own medical large language model. This specialised focus ensures that the AI operates with a deep understanding of medical interactions, clinical nuances, and specific needs of healthcare professionals. With this responsible approach, they were just the ideal partner for us. The Corti Assistant offers unique real-time conversational AI capabilities, unlike other systems that provide delayed summaries. Corti builds summarised notes during consultations, prompting clinicians to further question or confirm facts in real time as the conversation takes place. So this ensures a more accurate and efficient consultation and documentation process. So in summary, the integration of AI into healthcare represents a transformative opportunity for the NHS by reducing administrative burdens, improving efficiency, and enhancing the patient experience. AI scribes like Corti offer a practical solution to some of the most pressing challenges clinicians are facing today. However, it is crucial that we implement these technologies thoughtfully with a strong focus on privacy, data integrity, and trust. Okay, well, thanks for listening to me. I'm going to hand over to Frederick, who will give you a deeper dive into Corti's technology and its potential. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Paul. We, from Corti side, we are very enthusiastic about this partnership, and glad we can present to you. As a clinician and seeing problems around the world, how doctors, nurses, and other clinicians work, it is, to Paul's point, really an increasing problem we see in many, many countries. There is actually an increase of demand and a reduced of workforce. So the number of doctors and nurses are diminishing. And this is not something that we keep on repeating. Like, the numbers are just proving it. There was, I was citing here some numbers on the screen that the workload is actually up with 70% over the last year as a GP practice, and that keeps on continuing. So the pressure is huge. And due to the fact that the workload goes up for a clinician, not as a surprise, the waiting lists are getting longer. So you, as a patient, you need to wait 4 or 5 months before you can see a doctor. Referrals are tough. So when you want to see a dermatologist, it's even longer. So that problem is increasing. Patients are unhappy. And if you then actually analyze what clinicians are doing, what nurses are doing, and doctors are doing, they're spending a huge amount of time on administration, up to like 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, 3.5 hours a day. It's just on prescribing a wheelchair, making a note, sending a referral letter, all of that, which are actually non-clinical tasks and taking up a huge amount of work. Nobody likes it. We didn't went to med school or to nursing school for taking clinical notes. It's like we want to focus on the patient. And that's actually what, with technology, we want to start solving. And that's a little bit the mission of Corti. I want to speak a little bit first what this is and then what we exactly do. Corti is actually founded several years ago, 9 years ago, and very much focused on developing AI. It was an AI research and development lab where a lot of mathematicians focused on building healthcare LLM models themselves. So it's not that actually building a wrapper around Whisper or Amazon technology or ChatGPT, but really say, how can we build in this niche domain of healthcare safe and secure AI models? and actually build models trained on medical data versus models trained on the internet. You're not going to look, if you're a medical professional, you're not going to look on the internet what the best treatment for malaria is. You want to have it actually focused on databases that you know that are reliable, and that's actually how Corti is building their model. We're a global player. We've got offices in London, New York, Copenhagen, employees all around the world. We make products in different languages, 10 plus languages, so we support all those countries. And as I said, we focus very much on the safe AI and secure AI in this healthcare space where no mistakes are allowed. So that's what we do. In the meantime, we've got more than 100 million customer interactions per year all over the world. We're very proud about that. What we today going to speak about is this block in the middle, is something called Corti Assistant. That is one of the Corti products. Corti has several products. And it's very much focused on how do you get a clinical conversation, a doctor-patient conversation, transcribed into a note. And you can actually select that note, how to look like. And all of that we want to happen in real time. So while the doctor is speaking, have the AI listening in and creating a note real time and not an after the fact thing. We do that for multiple specialties, and it's also possible to create, of course, templates which are aligned with your EHR and templates which are aligned with the patient case in front of you. And I mean with that, it's obvious that I'm saying the obvious, that when you're doing a knee examination, it's not the same like a flu vaccination. So you can actually manage all those templates. And then what is mentioned here on the right-hand side of the slide, very much focus not only on building safe LLMs and secure LLMs based on medical data, but also having the whole hosting and infrastructure part fully compliant with the NHS or the respective country where we're active. The UK is very important. There is something called DCB 129, which is the clinical safety guideline, where we, of course, Corti has certification for that, and the other need a certification because it is AI technology. You don't want your medical note to go somewhere to India, or you perhaps have no idea where the server is going with your note. So that part about where your medical information is circulating when you use AI is super important, and we find that we focus a lot on that. With that, I'll move a little bit deeper into what the product I mentioned, Corti Assistant. We will do a demo in a second about that. You see like 3 pieces on the screen. On the left-hand side is your work list with the notes that have been done. In the middle part, you will see the note, and then you have an AI chat functionality that's also available. So what the real impact is, and that's what it's all about. I started off by saying there's so much pressure and admin work for doctors, nurses, and all clinicians, is can you actually do your note automatically and save 2, 3, 4 minutes per consultation with your patient. And you can actually focus more on the patient and not in typing a note in your EHR system. That's what we achieve with the systems like this, and that is the impact we have. I want to speak a little bit about the adoption of AI. So we spoke about the product, we spoke about Corti, the partnership with Crescendo. Finally, many of you have seen AI. We can't open a newspaper or we see an article about AI systems and how it will impact. But how fast is it really entering our medical practice, and how much are we using it a day-to-day? And there, some people predict, hey, there's going to be a revolution. We actually see a nice evolution, which is really going fast. I actually worked in the past very much into the speech recognition world, very familiar with products in that space, which started around 2000, and it took around 2020, over 20 years, doctors start using the traditional speech recognition. what I see now over the last 2-3 years, that every year there is an increase in adoption of the AI technologies and the note creating. You see some numbers of a survey done with more than 2,000 doctors in Europe, where you see that more than 60% strongly believe in the adoption of AI, and we see that only growing year over year. And where is it then used? Most of it, it is for that saving administrative time. So the 2-3 hours we spoke about, automating patient notes, there's a lot of trust that AI systems will solve that and actually fix those problems for doctors. So we see that trend of step by step taking it up and believing it. So with that, we showed you too many slides. We want to show you the product, which is going to be more exciting. I will actually move to a different screen and invite my patient Paul. Okay. I'm just going to say, Paul, can you see my...
Not yet. So we're still on the slide at the moment, Frederick.
Let me stop. Share again. All right.
That's better. Yep, that's right. Perfect.
So when I start with the system, I have the option to have like an in-person conversation, or a virtual. Virtual is when you would be in a telemedicine situation, then you can actually, that's what we're going to do now, do that. So I'm first going to click there. You see several options. Of course, I can select my microphone. I have selected English, and then I have a whole set of notes that I can select. Templates, how my text font needs to come on the screen. I'm selecting here the System 1 template, and I will then start the session, and then I will invite Paul to be my patient. And what you're going to see us speaking like for a good 2-3 minutes. We'll get through that, and then we'll explain how the system looks like. So, okay. Hey, Paul, good morning. Good afternoon. What brings you here?
Oh, good afternoon, Doctor. My throat has been so painful for a few days now.
Okay, a few days. How many days is that?
About 4 days now. It started off, felt sort of scratchy, and now it really hurts, especially when I swallow.
And so any other symptoms like fever or coughing or your nose?
Yeah, I had a bit of a fever yesterday. I was running a temperature of 37.8. No cough to speak of, but my nose is very, very bunged up.
Okay. Have you noticed any swollen glands in your neck?
I have. My neck, actually, it feels a little bit swollen, and it kind of feels a bit bruised as well.
Okay. So you mentioned also you've got pain swallowing. Do you have trouble breathing?
No, breathing, no problem. It's just the painful swallowing.
Okay. Do you have any head aches or body aches otherwise?
Just a mild headache yesterday, but feeling very run down and tired.
Okay. And did you have that before, or is it the first time?
Oh, I get the occasional cold, but nothing quite like this.
Okay. Have you do you take medications normally?
I've just been taking paracetamol for the fever.
Okay. Yeah. Any past medical conditions I need to know about? Any surgeries?
No, I'm generally healthy. No surgeries. No.
All right. And what about your family? Any history of frequent infections?
No, nothing like that.
Okay. Do you smoke or drink, Paul?
No, I don't smoke. I drink occasionally, a couple of beers when I'm watching the football at the weekend.
Okay. So, okay, let me have a look to your throat and do a quick physical examination. So I see that your tonsils are enlarged and red. I also see some white patches on them. Your lymph nodes in your neck are or swollen. Let me listen to your lungs, do a lung auscultation. So your lungs are clear. That's good. Your heart rate is a little bit higher. It's 82. I don't see any rash on your skin. No nasal discharge right now, but your nasal passage look a little bit inflamed. Did you had any strep throat in the past?
Sorry, can you explain strep?
So strep is a bacterial infection. So which is the long name is a streptococcus, which is the name of the bacteria. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I understand. No, I haven't.
Okay. So based on what I'm seeing, you can have or a viral infection of your throat or a bacterial. And so the best way to find that out is do a swab. So we will do a throat swab, and that will take a couple of minutes, and then we'll see if that's positive or not. The importance of that is that the treatment is different. So let me do that. Okay. So the results are in. It's positive. So that means you have a throat infection with a streptococcus that is bacterial. We will treat that with antibiotics. So what we will do is I will prescribe you amoxicillin 850 milligrams. You need to take that twice a day for around 10 days. It is important you finish the full box for the full 10 days, even if it gets better after a couple of days. Otherwise, you can have a refall. Secondly, you can keep on taking paracetamol or ibuprofen for the pain. If you don't need to, you shouldn't. It's also important to drink lots of water and to take a good rest. So I would also say if it doesn't get better in 2-3 days, come back and see me, and then we can reevaluate. So any more questions about that?
No, that all makes perfect sense, Doctor. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Paul. All the best. Cool. So I finished here the documentation. And so what you see on the screen is, first of all, you have the transcript of everything that is said between the patient and the doctor. But what is more interesting is here the summary note that is created. You see it gives a diagnosis automatically. There are the different sections where it comes from. Those sections really come from the template I selected, which was the System 1 template. If I would select another template, a SOAP note or a long template, then other sections will be structured in other sections. And then you see the history section, examination session, diagnosis and plan. And let me read this quickly through. See, the painful for 4 days. Pain was swallowing. It took the temperature correctly. A mild headache. Voila. So that looks good. The examination, it captures all of it. It has this elevated heart rate. Throat infection was treated by positive throat swab. And okay. I was stumbling over my words here with paracetamol, but it captured it anyway. That is something like what traditional speech trick would not do. So with that, I was glad it comes out like that. So this, I'm actually happy with this note. What I can do, if I want, I can make edits to this note, showing a little bit what the system can do. The first, and just by placing my cursor and adding something to the note, like no ear pain, for example. That's one example. The second way I can edit the note is actually by using voice, and I click here on the start dictation button. Paul is working in London and needs to travel a lot for his work. So I added here non-medical part. You see it understands medical and non-medical text, so the note can be. Oops, I'll better turn off my microphone. And so we can add in that. And so with that way, I can actually edit the note like I want. You see then, if I move to the right-hand side of the screen, an AI chat functionality. With that, I can do a couple of things. I can actually ask the system to do certain tasks or ask for more information. For example, did the patient mention any family history? The patient did not mention any family history or infections. So the patient mentioned no family history or infections. So in that sense, you can ask more questions. So that is more like querying the transcript. The second thing that can be done is actually the rewriting the note, because now it's written in a nice text. You can actually also write that up in bullet points and edit the text. So write the history in bullet points. Well, it actually took this entire text and now outputs it like this. And I can actually just update my documentation, which it does automatically. And you can say, well, I prefer more that way of note taking, or more the prosa text. And those functions of the AI chat, or you will see that evolving more and more in Corti, for example, to have more and more functions in there. An example of that is that you will have in the future parallel notes. You can actually have the note which goes into the electronic healthcare record, or in the meantime, in parallel from the same conversation, create a referral letter that can be sent. And then it's nicely, dear colleague, I'm sending you this patient poll for a streptococcus infection of his throat. And then based on the same transcript, it will create different notes, and that comes up in different tabs. So with that, I'm going to wrap up the demo and move back to a couple more slides, and then we will open it for questions. I need to share this again. I spoke about the, oops, am I sharing? Thank you. As I mentioned, we keep on adding more and more functionality to this product line. We're going to add some EHR interfaces in January. Next release up is in March, where we will work on what we call fact-based documentation. What do we mean with that? That we will actually output for multiple, when you have a consultation with multiple cases. For example, the patient has a throat infection, but also hypertension and also diabetes. And you talk about it, say, hey, is everything under control with your diabetes? Any question? Then you can actually say which pieces you want in your note or which not by an intermittent phase between the conversation and the note that you will optionally be able to do. So it's more a problem-oriented based documentation methodology that we will add to the system. Those workflows are really important to make it work in your practice, and that's where we want to focus on. Summarize past interactions. So that is very much when you have a patient coming or you see them in your waiting room. It's 8 months ago, you saw the patient and they already came 20 times. What was it all about? You can actually summarize the last visits of that patient to get you a quick refresh of what happened in the past. Create multiple documents from one conversation. That is exactly what I meant with, you very often have the note that is created, but you also need to do a referral. And that will also be possible in the next version. You can have multiple versions based on one conversations. Expanded AI chat, you will see us adding more and more power and AI to that. We will always do that in a super safe way, where we're working together there with the companies to guide us in to secure us on clinical safety and all of that. And the last thing, you will also see a Corti possibility on an iPhone app that will let you use or create your notes automatically when you're not in front of your computer screen, when you would be in a hospital and you want to continue your note taking. So that is coming in March. So with that, I want to turn it back to Paul, who will speak a little bit about how to get access to Corti Assistant.
Hi, thanks very much, Frederick. Very useful. Yeah, so if anybody is interested in perhaps trialing the Corti Assistant, it is good news. We can do that for you. What we're going to be doing is sending out an email straight after the presentation. In that email will be a link where you can pop in your details. It'll ask you a few questions about systems you're using, etc. And we can arrange for we can follow up and arrange a trial for you if that is of interest. Okay, so you'll get that shortly after the presentation. I think now, Fred, we've lost the slides from the screen, but I think we're getting quite a few questions. So, yeah. Okay. Obviously on the screen now you have got my email addresses and indeed Frederick's, so feel free to reach out to us if you want to. But yeah, we have got questions. So who's going to allocate questions out? I think that's you, Liv. Okay, can't actually hear you, Liv. So
should I read the first one here? So
yeah, let's.
Oh, my apologies.
Okay.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Sorry, we had quite a few questions in. We have quite a few that are around the same topic. There was a System 1 template, which is one of the primary care clinical systems. And there's questions about getting templates for other clinical systems, such as EMIS Web, for instance. So is it potential to have other templates for other systems?
Okay, I'll pick up that one if you may, because if I may, basically the templates are set up as per the clinical system. So with EMIS, you saw the System 1 template. They basically mimic the headings within either System 1 or EMIS, and then obviously you can move the notes. At this moment of time, you would move the notes from the Corti Assistant into the correct sections with EMIS or System 1. I did spot so some sort of questions on coding. So I'm going to stick specific to EMIS and System 1 just for a moment. But if you want to code within EMIS, if you have copied and pasted a section of text into EMIS, and let's just say one of them is in the problem, and that problem is rheumatic fever. If you place your cursor next to the rheumatic fever and touch your spacebar, that will prompt you for the correct SNOMED code for that particular problem. Equally, in System 1, there are keystrokes to code text. So most people are used to typing and getting a prompt for a recode. If you're using the copy-paste feature, you can highlight a particular problem, press Control Spacebar on the keyboard, and it will present you with the list of SNOMED codes within System 1. Okay, I'll probably cover that a little bit more with sort of system-specific users, but hopefully that covers that one a little bit.
Perfect. Then we've got another question asking how this would work with much longer consultations. For instance, in psychiatry, consultations can be over an hour. Is there a time limit on the system?
Not that I believe. Frederick, feel free to jump in if need be. But you know, I actually see the longer the consultation. I did spot that someone mentioned something like up to an hour. But the conversation is recorded, time stamped, and obviously you saw it summarize and build. That would be relevant to having a psychiatric template. So obviously there's going to be quite a few more probably headings within that. But the idea, an hour's consultation will not be a problem.
The technology is streaming the audio like a normal streaming functionality, so there is no limitation to the AI on that processing. So the length is not a problem, and indeed we have specific mental health templates. Yeah.
Perfect. And then another question that was quite interesting. Does the system, i.e. the chat, would it give recommendations, for instance, for a referral to drug and alcohol, or any recommendations?
So at this moment, the system, Corti is really focused on creating the best and most accurate note based on a conversation. So Corti is not there, does not have the medical knowledge to start giving recommendations, and that's not our specialty. So we focus on the note creation, but like differential diagnosis and all of that is that there are specialized systems for that.
Okay, perfect. Another question we've had quite a lot is, will people be able to make their own templates or have their own custom templates?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
sorry, go on, Frederick.
Yeah, very much. Those customizable templates are very important. They're important by specialty, and even within a specialty, we see that several physicians have a different template for this for specific cases. Right now, we actually give that possibility to request templates which we make in the system. Yeah, 100%. That's super important.
Okay, great. Just another one. How is the personal data kept safely stored within the AI?
Yeah. So that is there are a couple answers to that question. First of all, between the client and the cloud, that's like one part of it. There's a secure connection there with the highest levels of security. And the second thing is then our cloud infrastructure itself, which is certified for healthcare and according to all the requirements for the NHS. And in that sense, the other thing is also data not leaving the EU and according to all the UK data laws. Yeah.
That's great. I think we've got time for a couple more questions before the end, but we'll slowly wrap it up. We've had a couple questions saying if there's no app, can they still use it on a mobile device or a tablet, for instance?
That is possible today, just to go to the web browser and use it. Today, you can use it on a mobile device already. The app will just make it smoother and handier than going. And again, the app is only a couple of weeks away.
Okay, perfect. And another question. Sorry, one second. How does this software compare to some of the other providers that have popped up in the UK market? There's a couple names that have been thrown about. What are the key differences between Corti and these other providers?
So I'll kick that off and then I'll turn it to Henrik, who also joined here as our product management. So first of all, it is the real-time note taking. So while you speak, you see the text coming on the screen, and that processing that is unique. The second element that is super important is that those specialized healthcare models. So it's not a wrapper around an existing general purpose AI, a general like a Whisper or a ChatGPT, but it's very much focused medical models that has been developed that comes with a lot of extra safety. Hendrik, I'm gonna let you add a couple extra things.
Yeah, I think that was nicely said though. The main thing is definitely on how we ensure the quality. So because we own these models, it means that we have not just a lot more flexibility, but the guarantee that we can ensure that there is a high degree of quality. So we benchmark all of our models against the state-of-the-art open models, the likes of GPT-4 and the OpenAI suite of models. We benchmark against some of the other ones as well, and we can see that our models, when it comes to, we sort of have like three main metrics: completeness, conciseness, and correctness. And that means that they're complete. We're not missing things that are important for the clinical note. Correctness is our way of saying that we're not hallucinating. Hallucinations is the big concern with generative AI. And then when I speak with a lot of users that have used some of the competing products, there's this sort of wow moment for the first time they use it, but after the 10th or the 100th time, it feels like you're editing someone else's work, and you get to this huge mountain of text. That's where conciseness for us is really, really important. We're making sure that we're getting the right facts, but not putting in things that are not relevant. And it's that balance that we're really, really proud of that makes us different.
Okay.
And I think that's about all we've got time for. We have had questions for pricing. We will send out an email. Please get back to us with users and send that out. But I'll just hand back over for everyone to sign off. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks for doing that, Liv. If there is any, if there are questions that we haven't covered, the questions aren't just, we'll have the questions to come back to you guys on. If there's anything there, we did get an awful lot of them, and I think we'll be here for quite a while trying to cover them all. So we will get back to you after the webinar. Okay. So for me, I'd just like to say thank you very much for joining. Hope you found it very informative. Just be aware you will get the email. So if you do want to make an inquiry into a trial, feel free to do so. And yeah, over to you, Frederick. Thanks very much.
Thank you for the partnership. Looking forward to all of this. So this is really exciting, and glad to bring this to to the healthcare market and get people focus more on patients and less on administration.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks for attending, everybody.